going on, everybody? Chargers Now is presented by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and on today's program, we're going to be talking about Keenan Allen. Will he be returning to Los Angeles? We got some major coaching news going on with the Los Angeles Chargers that's going to be very important to kind of talk about. And I'll talk about how it's great for the culture, how it's great for the coaching staff, and how it's going to be great for the players. And we're going to talk about Rashee Rice because we haven't given an update yet on him, and he did something very stupid. And look, it's going to end up being positive for the Chargers. We're going to have a jam-packed show for you today. A lot of fun, a lot of hijinks, a lot of hilarity. Let's get into Keenan Allen first. Now, obviously, he is someone who, at the time of this recording, is still a free agent in the National Football League. Has a great haircut, though, so that's something important to kind of talk about. Our general manager, Joe Hortiz, went on the Kay Adams show, and she was pretty upfront with him. Hey, what's going to happen with Keenan Allen? Because I'm excited to see where he ends up next year, but he cannot be a Chief. And General Manager Joe Hortiz actually gave a very honest answer about what he kind of thinks about Keenan Allen. Would he add into this roster? Would he add to this team? And I think a lot of Chargers fans are going to be very excited about what they have to hear because I think there's a really strong possibility that Allen ends up back in Los Angeles. What do I mean? How'd I get there? We'll talk about that after you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to catch up to the rest of the AFC West here at Chat Sports. Don't want them to get too far ahead of us in our sub battle right now. We are just behind the Raiders report, trying to catch up. Already ahead of the Chiefs report and Broncos breakdown. Help us get there by hitting that sub button. So here's what Joe Hortiz had to say on Keenan Allen over on Up and Adams. Right now, we're in a spot where we're looking at the roster and we're letting these young guys get a chance. I've had some communication with Keenan's representation. And we talk. Right now, the guys that we have here, we're letting them grow and develop. Nothing but love for Keenan, and that door is not closed. Well, that's very interesting because I think there were a lot of people that were worried that Keenan Allen's time in Los Angeles was officially done and was going to be no more. When we look at the last 4 seasons for Keenan Allen, he's obviously had a lot of success. But he's also clearly taking a slight step back, whether it's been injuries or just flat-out age. Keenan Allen is someone who can still add to the roster, can still do a lot of really good things. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Keenan Allen is someone that's a must-sign. Keenan Allen is not Keenan Allen from 4 or 5 years ago, right? He's someone that is at the tail end of his career. I think he could help add to this team, but I don't necessarily think that he is a shoe-in to add to this team and take them over the top to that next level. Good player, but not what he once was. When we look at the wide receiver depth chart right now in Los Angeles, obviously there's a lot of talent, but it's a lot of young talent. Whether you're looking at Quentin Johnston, Harris, McConkey, Thompson, a lot of really good wide receivers here on this team. And so it's definitely not necessarily a situation where the Chargers have to add Keenan Allen. And I think that that is something smart. It's more of a luxury than it is something that is a necessity, which is probably why you've seen it take a little bit to get to this point where Hortiz is saying that we're discussing bringing Keenan Allen back, but we haven't set anything in stone. Do you want Keenan Allen back in Los Angeles? Let us know down below in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no, what your personal opinion is there. I think for me right now, I'm like 60-40. I'm going to lean on typing that Y in the comment section. I believe that OTAs are going to be a very big deal for these wide receivers. Now, obviously, that is getting underway in the upcoming week, and I think this Chargers team is smart. Let the young guys show what they can do during OTAs, during minicamp. Keenan Allen's also someone that I do not expect to sign a contract until much later on down the line, someone that probably doesn't sign until training camp time anyways, doesn't need to do any of these OTAs or off-season things. OTAs, we're going to find out what these young wide receivers can do in Los Angeles. Next, we got some big staff changes that the Los Angeles Chargers made. Very interested to see what your opinion is on these moves because I really like them. Before we get into anything else, though, I do need to let you know that today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including sports, concerts, festivals, and more. I was a little curious what SeatGeek could potentially have for the Chargers opening day game against the Arizona Cardinals. Wanted to see what a ticket would go for. Went to the site, looked for a green dot, trying to get the best deal possible, of course. Found a seat over by the end zone. Love watching touchdowns when I'm at a football game. Whether it's a Chargers game with a special lady friend or a Co-Wetzel concert with the boys, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so very much to SeatGeek. We got some big coaching staff moves in Los Angeles. Now, I think this is a little bit of a different type of move here than most people probably were expecting, or moves that people were expecting when they turned on today's video. You might have been thinking that, oh, the Chargers went out and signed a bunch of people, or they hired a bunch of new coaches, and that's not necessarily true. What you're seeing is a lot of promotions by the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think that these are all really smart moves. You have 5 guys on here that have all spent time in Los Angeles that have earned the different promotions that they've gotten, whether it's on the defensive side of the football or the offensive side of the football. When you look at a guy like Shane Day, he was someone that was up for the offensive coordinator position with Los Angeles. Obviously, he didn't get it, and I think that was probably the right choice for the Los Angeles Chargers. But what is smart here by Jim Harbaugh and general manager Joe Hortiz is they are making sure that there is a quality coach on the coaching staff that while he might not have gotten the promotion that he wanted, he still gets a promotion because they're making sure that they are taking care of him. With Steve Clinksale, you're seeing a promotion for someone who was up for your defensive coordinator position. Again, he didn't get that job, but what you're doing is you're putting him in a spot to where he could potentially get the next job, the next defensive coordinator position that is put out in front of him. This is a smart decision by the Los Angeles Chargers, and all of these moves, in my opinion, are going to lead to greater success for this Chargers team. And you might be saying to yourself, Will, what does a bunch of promotions have to do with the Los Angeles Chargers and the success that they have now and in the future? Like, yes, it's good. These good coaches are getting, promotions, and they're getting things that they deserve, and they're getting treated in a very nice and cordial way. But I do think that these types of moves don't just help the guys that got promoted. It helps everyone else down the line. What do I mean by that? Well, all of these promotions were earned. Now, not every time that you earn something in life do you get a reward for it, right? I can come into Chat Sports and I can have a bunch of videos on YouTube that go viral in the moment for a multitude of different reasons. That doesn't mean that the bosses here at Chat Sports have to come in and give me a raise or give me a kudos or say, hey, great job, Will. We're really proud of you. Sometimes different companies will just say, oh, well, that's Will doing his job. Not saying that that's what we do here at Chat Sports. I love my bosses, and I think they do a great job of helping me out here. But it's always nice to get the recognition when you do something well. And I think it leads to people having more buy-in to the organization, as well as having more buy-in to what you are trying to build in Los Angeles. I think it boosts morale. Think about it. When you do something good at your job and your boss or someone near you, someone that you work with, comes by and says, hey, man, attaboy, great job, man. That was awesome. I loved what you did on that project. It's only going to make you more excited to come to work, and that's a great thing. It also shows that the culture that Jim Harbaugh and the rest of that Chargers staff has built in Los Angeles is a good culture because they're taking guys who have been in the organization for a while, have done a good job at their previous job or whatever they were asked to do before, and you're bringing them along. You're bumping them up in the scale. One, it makes people want to stay on the staff for longer. Two, it helps show good coaches that if they're at another organization and they get an opportunity to come to Los Angeles, they're going to get taken care of. And then three, and most importantly, everyone just loves it when you have a teammate or a person that you work with that gets a promotion because it's usually a good thing for them. And usually you have some strong respect for those people. We're going to end today's show with a Rashee Rice update. Now, obviously, you already know that he made a mistake. He ended up testing positive for THC, so he's going to serve 30 days in jail, and that happened already. This tweet from Ari Mirov, great NFL insider, was back on May 19th. Now, what's interesting is that does mean that he is going to miss OTAs and minicamp. Then Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show, and he actually kind of had a report where he was talking about the knee surgery that Rice had earlier. Now, it sounds like Rice kind of made a mistake that he wasn't really paying attention the way that he needed to be, but he did something that he wasn't supposed to do, and because of that, he now has to serve jail time. And it's going to impact how he rehabs through the process of that knee surgery. Now, when we look at the career stats for Rashee Rice, when he's been on the field, he's been a very important player for that Chiefs team. I mean, 14 touchdowns in 3 years is very impressive. It's more impressive when you look at the total number of games that he's played. He's under 30 games. Rice is a very important piece to that Chiefs team. And in my personal opinion, I think he's their wide receiver one. So the fact that he's not going to be at OTAs or minicamp is really going to hurt the Chiefs. And this is horrible news for a ball club in the AFC West that is trying to get back into playoff contention. I think it's actually only going to lead to good things for the Los Angeles Chargers. So we're going to talk about how this Rice news is going to impact the Los Angeles Chargers here in just a moment. But I do need to let you know that today's show is also made possible by PrizePicks. Now, I have a lineup for the entire football year, and I kind of want to go through it here with you. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. I think that offense in LA is going to be very much improved. So that's going to lead to more opportunities for Herbert to throw the football. More opportunities to throw the football should lead to more passing yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. If that offense is improved in LA, that should lead to more opportunities for Quentin Johnston to catch the football. And that, of course, would potentially lead to more receiving touchdowns. I also have Rashid Shaheed in my lineup. I have more on his receiving yards. Shaheed joined Seattle halfway through last season, a full offseason with Darnold, and the rest of that Seattle offense should lead to more opportunities for Shaheed to catch the football, which is why I have more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. So let's first start with how Rice is going to impact the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, they're going to be without their number one wide receiver through a very important time in the offseason program. And with Rice, when he's been healthy and he's been on the field, he's been a really good wide receiver in the National Football League. But it seems like his big bugaboo is staying on the field. He hasn't been able to really do it through much of his career, especially the last two seasons, whether it was injuries or other issues. And so there's a clear drop-off that's going to happen in Kansas City, in my opinion. How this is going to impact the Los Angeles Chargers, well, it's going to hurt the Chiefs. And anything that hurts the Chiefs, look, it's honestly going to be good for the Chargers. If Kansas City is not nearly as good as we might be expecting them to be this season, well, then it makes it easier for the Chargers to beat them in 2 games. It makes it easier for the Chargers to be the first or second team in the AFC West. It makes it easier for the Chargers to potentially go through a playoff run where they don't have to deal with Kansas City. Look, I get it. You don't ever want to prey on the downfall of another team in this kind of way. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't sit here and tell you that this is going to have an impact on the Chargers for the positive, because it's negatively going to impact the Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs, they might be falling off a cliff, man. I'm not here to say that they're dead. Anytime that you have Patrick Mahomes, you are going to be in a good position to win a lot of football games. But I think it's also important to talk about when you look at those New England Patriot teams and that dynasty. It's really 3 separate dynasties. You have the early Tom Brady years, you have the mid Tom Brady years, and you have the late Tom Brady years. Those are very different teams, and they are structured in a very different way. The Kansas City Chiefs, they just went through the early Patrick Mahomes years, and they are going to have to transition to the middle Patrick Mahomes years. Will they be able to do that? Because it feels like, to me, they are falling off a cliff right now, and they're not going to be in a good spot to win a lot of football games, and I don't know that the pivot has been done as effectively as they did it in New England. I think the Chiefs are falling off a cliff. Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me down below in the comment section. Very interested in what you have to say. Give the thumbs up button on this video if you loved it, you love the channel, and you love everything that we are doing here. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do so now. You don't want to miss out on any Chargers news or rumors in the year of 2026. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. I cannot wait to see you guys next time. Tell someone that you love them. And as always, bolt up.